I'm gonna flash a picture of a pony figure really quick. Ready? Okay, now, who was that? You're probably thinking it was Pinkie Pie, right? Well, let's take a look at that picture again. You still probably think it's Pinkie Pie, but no, apparently this is supposed to be Twinkleshine. Anyways, a lot of you guys commented on my last video about this topic that you guys want to see more of Inaccurate My Little Pony toys, so here goes nothing. Even though she's not too important to the show, I'm sure that you've seen Twinkleshine before, or if you haven't, this is what she looks like. Anyways, what's with this toy of her, ignoring the fact that she has a random koala with her for some reason? Why is she pink? Now, before you tell me that these are two different characters with the same name, that's clearly not true since they have the exact same cutie mark and eye color. Well, kind of. It's weird how the box art of the figure is a recolor of Rarity instead of, like just using an actual picture of Twinkleshine. I mean, she appeared in the very first episode, so I don't see why they couldn't do that. They sure didn't have a problem with using a picture from the show when they made Princess Celestia a different color. You know how before Star Swirl the Bearded was actually physically seen in the show, the only thing that we knew about him was that he was a unicorn that looked something along the lines of this? Well, looks like the people in charge of making these toys didn't get the memo because this is apparently supposed to be Star Swirl. What's random is how this is a recolor of the figure of Apple Strudel, but the weirdest part is how this is the only recolor of Apple Strudel. This figure comes from the wave of the Best Gift Ever themed toys, which came out in 2018. Star Swirl the Bearded was first seen in the show in 2017, so it makes no sense for the people to make him look like this. I think that the worst part of this though is how we never got an actual legit figure of Star Swirl the Bearded, nor any of the Pillars of Equestria for that matter, which is just a little disappointing, but I digress. Speaking of which, it appears as if the blind bag minifigures are a gold mine of inaccuracies, since like 90% of them are recolors of the main 6 models, except for this Fluttershy one that's a recolor of another main 6 character. I mean, was Fluttershy just not that important to get her own model? I mean, I guess it kinda makes sense in the context of how Fluttershy's hairstyle is pretty unique, and the manufacturers probably just didn't feel like making a new Fluttershy model if they wouldn't be able to repurpose it, but it does kinda bother me how the picture that comes on the card with this minifigure is trying to like trick you into thinking that this is how Fluttershy actually looks like in the show. I'm glad that they did eventually release a much more accurate version of her 4 years later, which they did do one recolor of her from what I could find. While I was making this list, I realized that we needed at least one Equestria Girls entry, and then I saw this, and something stuck out to me. I'll give you a couple seconds to look at this image and you tell me if you notice what's wrong. Okay, time's up. Why is Gummy here? I mean, yes, Pinkie in Equestria Girls does have a plush of Gummy, but let's compare the two. Clearly, this figure has actual alligator eyes, while this plush has just like small beady eyes. Now, you might be thinking, didn't the Mod Pie figure also come with a Gummy figure? Maybe they just reused the same model because they were too lazy to make a new one. And I would agree with you, but no, they're different models, is at least what I would be saying, but it does turn out that the Sugar Sweet Corner set also comes with a Gummy, and I'm pretty sure that these are, like, literally identical. Hold up, it's me from the future, and while I was editing this, I realized that these two look different, so that means that either this is a reused model from some other playset, or they made a new Gummy model and still made it look inaccurate to the actual reference thing. So if this is a reused model, please let me know if you know where it's from, but if it isn't, then I guess the guys who made this kind of messed up. Anyways, back to the video. Before we move on to the next one, I just want to make a quick correction about my last video when I said that I have no idea why Spike Toys have him on all fours. A lot of you guys pointed out that he looked like that in concept art and Hasbro just rushed the toys, which does make a lot of sense, so thanks to everyone who corrected me on that. Anyways, for the worst slash best slash strangest inaccuracy, we have Princess Skyla. I mean, I guess you could say that this isn't exactly an inaccuracy per se, but who even is this, you ask? Let me read off this post to catch up to speed. For those not in the know, Princess Skyla was a baby alicorn toy released in late 2012. We all thought that she was going to be shining in Cadence's full, but that didn't happen. At least not in Season 3. In Season 5, Cadence became pregnant, and we thought that she was going to give birth to Skyla, but it turned out to be Princess Flurryheart, a whole new character. And then the author of the post goes on to tell us what they think is the reason for Princess Skyla's existence. I have a theory that they were planning Cadence's pregnancy as far back as Season 3, and Skyla was the original name and design for the full, but they cut it because they had no room for such a storyline since S3 was such a short season, but they released the toy anyway just because. The reason the full in S6 had a different name and design was because they thought it would be odd to base a character off of a toy made 3 years ago. Personally, I think that this theory does make sense. I mean, as much as I don't necessarily like Flurryheart, I'll admit that her design is way more appealing than this. This is the kind of stuff that I'll see in my nightmares. I think that I do remember seeing this thing in stores as a kid and thinking, oh great, they're just making a whole bunch of toys full of random ponies that don't exist, aren't they? Obviously, there is a bunch of toys for characters who aren't actually in the show, but I think it's the fact that Princess Skyla is an alicorn, meaning that whatever the process of this toy being put on shelves was, there must have been something interesting planned out that we'll never know of. It looks like they didn't go too far with the idea of Princess Skyla since the box art is just a recolor of Sweetie Belle, but I don't know. Maybe this really is just some random alicorn toy that they made with no relevance to the show whatsoever. It's impossible to really know unless if someone who worked on this comes out and tells us. If you know of any other inconsistencies like this, let me know and I might make a part 3. And also, I would like to give a huge thanks to all those who suggested ideas for this part. Until next time, I am out.